Tell us a little bit about the questions that occupy you today, with respect to your thesis, and kind of give us a little intro into what's on your mind. What questions are you battling with?
What interests me, so some of the issues that I've been dealing with in my research is the development of Jewish identity throughout the ages, from pre-biblical or biblical all the way to our days. And one of the prisms that interested me to look at how this Jewish identity is conceptualized is through this idea of Giyur, of joining the Jewish people. And of course, Giyur developed a lot in the last 2,000-3,000 years. And all sorts of things were added to it, all sorts of things fell away, and we saw all sorts of social elements and religious elements and soul elements, so to speak, coming in and out of this idea of Giyur. And so this development helps us to redefine or to understand how Judaism is defined. So because you cannot convert out of Judaism, so that is kind of not a good place to look at the borders of Judaism. The only way you can look at the borders of Judaism is when people come into it, when they make Giyur, when they convert into it. So that's an interesting fence, kind of, where you can actually look and see, okay, what's going on in this liminal place between Judaism and non-Judaism, and how is this conceived? Yeah. So this is the issues that I've been trying to think about and learn about.
So you're saying it's like the song, you can check out anytime you want, but you can't never leave, actually.
Exactly, yeah.
So
the only way to, exactly, so like Hotel California, it doesn't matter how much you walk away from it, you can't leave. So the only place to check, how can I enter it, or where are the borders of this hotel, is looking at the people coming in, checking in, right? So that's the idea.
So I want to turn this to Dr. Laitman. Dr. Laitman, why can't you leave this designation of Jewishness? Like once you're a Jew, you're always a Jew. You can't leave. Why is that?
I
think that being Jewish or not being Jewish is a person's own choice. It is a daily choice. A Jew is one who is Yehudi, united with those who want to be Yehudim, united among them. In other words, Jews, yes, connected among themselves and connected with the upper force. They all think that their goal is to connect with the upper force, with the Creator, in equivalence of form, according to the equivalence with the inclination to connection and love. This is how Abraham, the patriarch, about 3,500 years ago or so, collected the people in Babylon and connected them among themselves only under this umbrella called love your neighbor as yourself. Those who joined him, Abraham's assembly, which he gathered from the 70 nations of the world that were in Babylon, he called them Jews, from the word Yichud, united, because they were united among them in order to reveal the upper force, the force of love. So it would be among them, because love covers all transgressions, all crimes. They were all selfish, but they tried to unite above the selfishness, and that's how they found the force of love. And that force they called Elohim, God, or Havaya, etc. And that group, which afterwards went through the exile in Egypt, the exodus from Egypt, and everything we know from the Torah, etc. So that group is called the Jewish people. But the definition of a Yehudi, a Jew, is one who is willing to unite with other people without any relation to nationalities. Because initially, Jews had no nationality. It is a people that is not one of the nations. and it is united. Each person in the nation is united to like-minded people in order to find the common force between them, the force of connection and love. According to the motto, love will cover all the crimes, meaning all the differences. And that's how they come to a connection of love between them. This is called the Jew. Anyone can come into this, can enter it, but coming out of it, according to the definition of Jewishness, anyone can come out of it as well, can leave it. So basically, it is a group that exists very freely. It can be, they can be connected among them or not connected among them. Throughout history, we were connected among us, more or less. There were wars between us, civil wars, throughout the 1,000 years that we were in the land of Israel after the exodus from Egypt, until we were dispersed from there, and the land could no longer hold us in it, tolerate us in it. So according to the definition of, the true definition of Judaism, as it was in Babylon, those who are drawn to unite with all the others are called Jewish. Those who are not drawn to connection above their egos, despite one's nature, is not called a Jew. Therefore, entry into Judaism and exit from Judaism has nothing to do with the father or mother, but only according to a person's inclination in the heart. If one agrees to this definition and if one is willing to commit oneself to that goal or not.